Okay, let's take a look. This is, for anyone watching this on YouTube, this is happening live on stream right now, so I just want to warn you that this is going to be very scatterbrained. It's not going to be edited in any sort of fashion. We are just going to be giving our first impressions here. So, here we go. We've been waiting 10,000 years. We got him. Let's open the window. Let's take a look. So we have our class tree on the left. We have our spec tree on the right. Right now we're in Havoc. So, top row. Okay, so we have Vengeful Retreat. That's already chosen. Next to that, we have Master of the Glaive. Throw Glaive has 1 additional charge. So this is different than the previous Master of the Glaive. The other one had a slow component to it. I'm wondering if we're going to see that later down the tree. Potentially the one right below it, but we'll see. Sigil of Flame. So, as Havoc, we're getting a Sigil. We are getting Sigil of Flame. If you choose it. Maybe you won't choose it. I don't know. Let's start on the second row here. Unrestrained Fury. Increases maximum Fury by 10. Then next we have Bouncing Glaives. Throw Glaive ricochets to 1 additional target. Next to that, we have Shattered Restoration. The healing of Shattered Souls is increased by 5%. Row 3, Vengeful Restraint. Vengeful Retreat reduces the movement speed of all nearby enemies by 70% for 3 seconds. Okay, so yeah, so that's not something that's built into the baseline Vengeful Retreat, which is interesting. So this just removes all snares and vaults away. Nearby enemies take physical damage, so this adds the slow component to it. Disrupt, that's our interrupt. We knew that we were probably going to have to spec into it. Most classes are speccing into their interrupt. It's not a big deal. Don't freak out. It's fine. Imprison. Yeah, works the same. Seems to be all the same. Consume magic. Consume 1 beneficial magic effect, removing it from the target. Oh, this is the range of Disrupt. Okay. Interesting. Increases it to 10 yards. Cool. Flames of Fury. Sigil of Flame generates 2 additional Fury per target hit. Interesting, dude. So, okay. Yeah. Let's just read Sigil of Flame real quick. Place a Sigil of Flame at the target location that activates after 2 seconds. Deals fire damage and an additional 1,614 fire damage over 6 seconds to all enemies affected by the sigil. 30-second cooldown. Generates 30 Fury. And then Sigil of Flame generates 2 additional Fury per target hit. Very cool. Next row. Pursuit. Mastery increases your movement speed. Disrupting Fury. Disrupt generates 30 Fury on a successful interrupt. Aura of Pain. Increases the critical strike chance of Immolation Aura by 5%. Where is this going to lead us? I wonder. Consume Magic. Consume Magic generates 20 Fury when a beneficial magic effect is successfully removed from the target. Charred Warblades. You heal for 5% of all fire damage you deal. Wow. You heal for 5% of all fire damage you do. Immolation Aura is fire damage. Sigil of Flame is fire damage. The Hunt is... We'll get there. I think the Hunt is going to be fire damage from what I'm hearing. I wonder if this is straight up replacing Leech. We'll see. Okay. So the next row, this is the row that you need to spend 8 points to you know, get into and go past. Fel Fire Haste. Fel Rush increases your movement speed by 10% for 8 seconds. So this is a conduit that we're now able to get. Debilitating Cuts. Throw Glaive snares all enemies hit by 50% for 6 seconds. So this is what was missing from Master of the Glaive up here. We got it down here. Very cool. Rush of Chaos. Reduces the cooldown of Metamorphosis by 60 seconds. So that's a whole minute off of meta. I don't know what baseline it is now. We can look, but I don't know if this is like permanent or like if they're going to change things. Ooh, okay. Okay. Without that talent, it's a 5-minute cooldown. Without that talent, it's a 5-minute cooldown. But you know, let's not freak out yet. Let's keep reading. Things could change. Okay, this is a choice node here. So you can get concentrated sigils. All sigils are now placed at your location, and the duration of their effects is increased by 2 seconds. Or precise sigils. Also, all sigils are now placed at your target location. All sigils, wow, I can't speak. All sigils are now placed at your target's location. So whatever you're targeting, if you're targeting a boss or whatever, you press the sigil button, it automatically gets cast under that boss's feet. That's pretty cool. I don't think that's a thing now, is it? Vengeance has the one that places it under their feet. And they have like quickened sigils. But to place it under a target's feet, specifically a mob, I think that's new, right? The one next to it is Lost in Darkness. Spectral Sight lasts an additional 6 seconds if disrupted by attacking or taking damage. So again, that's a conduit. We will be building some loadouts here later on, guys. We're just kind of reading over what they are currently, and then we'll try to put something together, okay? The next row, Illidari Knowledge. Reduces magic damage taken by 2%. And this is a 2-point node. I'm wondering if we get 2% per, or if it's just a flat 2%. Soul Rending. Leech increased by 5%. Gain an additional 10% leech while meta is active. So we get the leech, and we get charred warblades. That's a lot of healing. That is a lot of healing. Now, I don't know for sure. I might be wrong. Anyone feel free to correct me here. So, in terms of leech, that's going to be after your damage is dealt, right? So if you're doing like physical damage and that damage is reduced by armor, you only get the healing back of what you actually did after the reduction. I could be wrong. Whereas fire damage is not reduced by armor. So maybe you would get more. I don't know. So yeah, 5% leech on top of 5% of all fire damage. That seems like quite a bit. And an additional 10% leech while meta is active. Again, we don't know exactly what's going to be happening with meta. So let's keep reading forward. Fellblade. Charges to your target and deal damage, fire damage. So that's more healing. Demon's Bite has a chance to reset the cooldown of Fellblade. I'm wondering if this will... It should. If we take Demon Blades, wherever Demon Blades may be in this, you know, mess of nodes on our screen, it should change to Demon Blades as well. So your auto attacks have a chance to reset the cooldown of Fellblade. Infernal Armor. Immolation Aura increases your armor by 10% and causes melee attackers to suffer 10 fire damage. That's a Vengeance talent, right? Now we can get it as Havoc. That's pretty good. Pretty good. We are hella tanky at this point. You know, with the leech and the healing from fire damage and infernal armor, it's quite a bit. Quite a bit. Will of the Illidari increases maximum health by 2%. Again, this is a 2-point node. A lot of infernal armor is also a 2-point node. I don't know if these increase per point spent, or if you actually need to spend 2 points to get what it says on the tooltip. I'm not exactly sure. We will see that once we start spending points. Chaos Nova. 30 Fury, 1 minute cooldown. Unleash an eruption of fell energy, dealing chaos damage and stunning all nearby enemies for 2 seconds. Seems to be the Chaos Nova we know and love. Okay, here we go. This looks... Oh, I can tell by the... I don't know if you guys can see this. I'm pointing at my screen like that helps you. The images of these choice nodes. Now, to me, it looks like on the left, something that I know. On the right, it looks like something I know. So here we go. Demonic origins. Demonic. Straight up demonic. I-beam causes you to enter demon form for 6 seconds after it finishes dealing damage. Okay, so there's a possibility of us not taking demonic. Interesting. The right one is demonic origins. The cooldown of Metamorphosis is reduced by 2 minutes, but its duration is reduced by 10 seconds. So we're chopping off 2 minutes there, and we're chopping off another minute somewhere else. I forget where it was. Somewhere in here. So that's bringing the 5 minute down to 2 minutes. Yeah. But you see what's happening here. You're either choosing for it to be a cooldown that you can use often, or you're choosing for your I-beams to put you into that demonic window. So if you're going for a more I-beam heavy build, you'd probably want to take demonic. If you're going for something outside of I-beam that's more dependent on you using your cooldown of meta, that's what this would lead you to, right? Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, let's keep reading. Sigil of Misery. Place a Sigil of Misery at the target location that activates after 2 seconds. This is a 3-minute cooldown. This one is a 3-minute, causes all enemies affected by the sigil to cower in fear, disorienting them for 20 seconds. This is actually pretty crazy that we have this amount of control now in our kit, right? Assuming we have everything that we used to have. We have our kick, we have our Chaos Nova. I'm assuming somewhere in here there's going to be Fel Eruption, hopefully. And now we can also potentially take Sigil of Misery. Now keep in mind, maybe we won't be able to have all of that at once. Maybe we have to choose. That very well could be the case. So just something to keep in mind as we're reading through all of these tooltips. You won't be able to take all of these at once. So it might seem, as you read through them, you might be thinking, oh, you know, the power is stacking on and this is insane. You're going to have to sacrifice something to get something else. So let's keep reading. This is another choice node here. We have Chaos Fragments. Each enemy stunned by Chaos Nova has a 30% chance to generate a lesser soul fragment. Or Unleashed Power. Reduces the fury cost of Chaos Nova by 50% and its cooldown by 20%. So you can choose to get lesser soul fragments, or you can choose to just do it more often. This makes me sort of believe that maybe there's going to be a build that is centered around soul fragments, whether it's for Havoc or for Vengeance. That would be interesting. So yeah, something to keep in mind. The next one is Blur. Increases your chance to dodge by 50% for 10 seconds, 1 minute cooldown. So you will have to spec into Blur. Blur has been one of the more powerful personal cooldowns in the game. So it makes sense that you know, there might be a world in which you don't take it, because you might have to give it up to get more damage. Darkness. So again, darkness is something you're going to have to spec into. This is a 5-minute cooldown. Summons darkness around you in an 8-yard radius, granting friendly targets a 20% chance to avoid all damage from an attack. Lasts 8 seconds. 5 minutes. That's quite the increase. Don't know how I feel about that. But yes, there's probably going to be more to this, so let's keep reading. Sigil of Silence. Place a Sigil of Silence at the target location that activates after 2 seconds. This is a 2-minute cooldown. Silences all enemies affected by the sigil for 6 seconds. So there might be a build where you take Sigil of Flame, Sigil of Misery, and Sigil of Silence. Cool. Improved Sigil of Misery. Reduces the cooldown of Sigil of Misery by 90 seconds. Just a reminder, Sigil of Misery is the disorient, the cower in fear, the fear one. So reducing that by 90 seconds, pretty substantial. What was the cooldown ascent? Before that, it was 3 minutes, so you're taking 90 seconds off that. Cool. Misery in Defeat. Enemies affected by Sigil of Misery take an additional 10% damage. Wow. So even if you're taking Sigil of Misery, it's actually an increase in damage, potentially. Or this could just be compensating. That could just be compensating for the damage you're losing by sacrificing taking other talent nodes and, you know, getting this instead. It is something to note that it doesn't say your damage. It says 10 damage additional. So that could be your party. Maybe. It reads that way. So yeah, that could be pretty powerful. Okay, we're getting towards the end of the class tree here. Demonic Appetite. Chaos Strike has a chance to spawn a lesser soul fragment. Consuming any soul fragment grants 15 fury. So again, this is, you know, if you're taking this, you would probably want to go up here and also take the Chaos Fragments talent with it. And that's going to start building up a sort of loadout here that's more focused on soul fragments. And here we go, another choice node. Long Night increases the duration of darkness by 2 seconds. So you would take it from 8 seconds up to 10 seconds. Or the other choice is Pitch Black. Reduces the cooldown of darkness by 120 seconds. So there we go. That's 2 minutes. That takes it down to 3 minutes. Not bad. Not bad, not bad. So, just the thought that I had in terms of Misery and Defeat. It says, enemies affected by Sigil of Misery take an additional 10% damage. Bosses can't be feared most of the time, right? They can't be affected by Sigil of Misery. Generally only trash. So I think that's something to consider when you're you know, looking at this and thinking about different builds that you can make with it. It says affected, so I'm assuming it's not just mobs that are, you know, underneath it and, you know, they're there when it explodes. I'm assuming it's mobs that are currently in that cowering in fear state. Causes all enemies affected by the sigil to cower in fear, disorienting them for 20 seconds. So they have to be actually affected by the Sigil of Misery. Anyways, let's keep reading. So here we go. The Hunt. The Hunt. This was data mined a couple weeks ago at this point. Maybe even a month ago. Yeah, dude, I'm super happy to see the Hunt. I'm glad it's nothing other than the Hunt. I'm glad it's not Sinful Brand. I'm glad it's not Elysian Decree. I'm sure as hell glad it's not Fodder to the Flame. So we got the best one. We got the best one. 50 yard range, 0.93 second cast, 1.5 minute cooldown. Charge to your target, striking them for an amount of nature damage. This will probably, you know, scale with whatever. Rooting them in place for 1.5 seconds and inflicting, again, more damage, more nature damage over 6 seconds to up to 5 enemies in your path. The pursuit invigorates your soul, healing you for 25% of the damage you deal to your hunt target for 30 seconds. Let me just read that one more time. Healing you for 25% of the damage you deal to your hunt target for 30 seconds. Yeah, that's pretty powerful. It looks to be the same. It looks to be the same, but again, like, I'm just kind of in awe right now of how much healing we have. And I'm concerned that it might be problematic. Maybe I'm just reading into it too much, but like, we have the healing of the Hunt. We have the healing of Soul Rending, wherever that was, the Leech. right? 5% leech, an additional 10% leech while meta is active. On top of, where was it? Charred Warblades. You heal for 5% of all fire damage you deal. You could also go into like a soul fragment build. So the healing of shattered souls is increased by 5%. There's going to be a lot of things you could do for extra survivability. Okay, where did we leave off here? We went to the hunt, yeah. So next is Demon Muzzle. Enemies deal 8% reduced magic damage to you for 8 seconds after being affected by one of your sigils. Enemies deal 8% reduced magic damage to you for 8 seconds after being affected by one of your sigils. Seems like more of a vengeance thing to take. Unless, yeah, I don't know, maybe there's like a raid mechanic or a boss in Mythic Plus where you know there's a big magic damage explosion going out or something. You can drop a sigil beforehand to give you a bit of that extra survivability there. Extended sigils increase the duration of sigil effects by 1 second. Cool. Obviously super powerful with Sigil of Misery if you take the talent below it where you do 10% more damage to that target. Yeah, I can see how this is all kind of piecing together here. So now we're down to the sort of capstone, we're into the capstone nodes here. So on the left, we have Desperate Instincts. Blur now reduces damage taken by an additional 10%. Additionally, you automatically trigger Blur with 50% reduced cooldown and duration when you fall below 35% health. This effect can only occur when Blur is not on cooldown. I think this is pretty similar to what it is now. I could be wrong. Somebody feel free to correct me. But that seems to be what it is on live. I think this is more of a PvP thing, maybe. I would expect maybe seeing this change or move or replaced or something. Because as is, nobody takes Desperate Instincts anyways. So let's move on. We got the middle node here. This is again a choice node. On the left, we have Unnatural Malice. So this is, modifying the hunt. Increase the damage over time effect of the hunt by 30%. Again, this is a conduit that we have in Shadowlands, which is now obviously a talent choice in Dragonflight. And to the right, we have Fey Empowered Elixir. The cooldown of the hunt is reduced by 12 seconds whenever an enemy is killed while afflicted by its damage over time effect. So this is a lot like the Torghast power. The only difference being it doesn't automatically reset. It just gets reduced by 12 seconds. The cooldown of the hunt is reduced by 12 seconds whenever an enemy is killed while afflicted by its damage over time. How much is the damage over time of the hunt? Rooting them on players for inflicting nature damage over 6 seconds. So within a 6-second window, they have to die. Yes and no. Like, they have to die within that window. I mean, maybe in Mythic Plus, things are dying at different times. So over the course of a dungeon, the amount of time you get taken off of the hunt maybe could amount to maybe another usage or something like that. I'm not totally sure. Again, this is something that we'll have to test. And I will be doing testing on this as we go further into looking at all this stuff. Okay, so the final capstone talent on the right is Quicken Sigils. All sigils activate 1 second faster and their cooldowns are reduced by 20 seconds. Okay, so that's the class tree here. You'll see a lot of it is like a mix of things that might be useful for Havoc, some that might be useful for Vengeance, and that's kind of the point of the class tree, right? It's to be shared between both specs. You don't have to take things that you're not interested in. You can only take the things that you might find beneficial to you. This is kind of more the fundamental stuff, right? This is all the baseline stuff. Once we start looking at the Havoc tree here, which we are about to do, we're diving into it right now. This is where you're going to see the fun stuff. This is where it all happens. This is where the magic happens. So Let's start. T2HX Ghost, thank you for the prime. Okay, let's start at the top. This looks like I-Beam. I-Beam. 30 Fury. 20-yard range, 30-second cooldown. Blasts all enemies in front of you for up to an amount of chaos damage over 1.9 seconds. Deals reduced damage beyond 5 targets. So, good. This is what we wanted to see. We know that it's not the way it is in Shadowlands right now. Because in Shadowlands, it's horrible. In Shadowlands, it's reduced damage beyond 1 target. So the fact that it's 5 targets, this is great to see. Super happy. This is awesome. Let's move on to the second row. We have Trail of Ruin. The final slash of Blade Dance inflicts an additional amount of chaos damage over 4 seconds. Cool. Trail of Ruin is fun. Humanity will be happy. Humanity is dancing in his chair right now. Then we have Dancing with Fate. The final slash of Blade Dance deals an additional 50% damage. So, what I'm gathering from this, before we go any further, guys, we're expected to use Blade Dance. There isn't a world where we don't use Blade Dance. Unless you go straight down the right side and you just avoid these, but it won't let you because you need to spend 8 points. So automatically we're getting something that will help Blade Dance be better. Can you take both Blade Dance talents? Probably. Absolutely. Okay, so the third one in this row is Hot Feet. Fel Rush gains an additional charge. Cool. Fel Rush has 2 charges on live, right? I'm pretty sure. You would think I would know, but I don't pay attention to this stuff. I just press the buttons. It has 2 charges, right? So let's see, baseline. So we have 1 charge baseline. We have 1 charge. We have to take a talent for it to be 2 charges. Yeah. So the third row, Tactical Retreat. Vengeful Retreat has a 5-second reduced cooldown and generates 80 Fury over 10 seconds. Interesting. Okay. So we still, if we take this, if we're playing Momentum or something, we will have to press Vengeful Retreat to generate Fury. The next one is Improved Chaos Strike. Chaos Strike damage increased by 15%. That's a pretty substantial boost right there. But that's just like flat damage. That's flat damage. That's not something that's going to be like, you know, hey, you have to press this over Blade Dance. That's not going to be the tilting point there. The next one is First Blood. Blade Dance deals additional chaos damage to the first target struck. So this doesn't reduce the Fury cost of Blade Dance like it does on live. There might be something else that we're about to see that does that, but this First Blood talent does not do that. Yeah, it's chaos damage now, not physical. Improved Fel Rush. Fel Rush damage increased by 25%. Burning Hatred. Immolation Aura generates an additional 60 Fury over 12 seconds. Critical Chaos. The chance that Chaos Strike will refund 20 Fury is increased by that's what it says, by 25% of your critical strike chance. Let me read that again. The chance that Chaos Strike will refund 20 Fury is increased by 25% of your critical strike chance. So let's look at Chaos Strike. So slice your target for chaos damage. Chaos Strike has a 20% chance to refund 20 Fury. So then you're adding 25% of your critical strike chance. Yeah. So this is a reason to potentially stack some crit. Cool. What would make this problematic? is if we then, you know, run into a Cycle of Hatred type of build where, you know, using Chaos Strike or getting those refunds reduces the cooldown of I-Beam. You see where that would go, right? Yeah, this is a 2.1, so it's probably going to increase. Mortal Dance. Blade Dance now reduces target's healing received by 50% for 5 seconds. I guess this is going to apply in PvE? That seems like a huge healing reduction for PvE. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Yeah, it on the surface level, it seems like it's a PvP thing, right? But there's moments in PvE where you want to, you know, reduce healing done, like Jailer, or like the bosses in Iron Docks, right? If you can reduce the healing that breaking the Sanguine Shield does, could be useful. Fel Fire Heart increases duration of Immolation Aura and Sigil of Flame by 1 second. Increases duration of Immolation Aura and Sigil of Flame by 1 second. Okay, that's a 2-point node. Now we're getting into the next one where you have to spend 8 points to proceed. We have Initiative, not yet implemented. So this talent isn't in here yet. We can't test this. Oh, this looks familiar. This looks familiar. This makes me happy to see. Unfortunately, we can't test it, but damaging an enemy before they damage you increases your critical strike chance by 15% for 5 seconds. Using Vengeful Retreat refreshes your potential to trigger this effect on any enemy you are in combat with. Wow. Wow. I would be surprised if this makes it in. Dude. That is very strong. It's going to be very fun to play. Whew. Whew. Let's shut up about it so it doesn't get nerfed, and yeah, it's weak. Nobody's gonna take it. Let's move on. Netherwalk. 3-minute cooldown. Slip into the nether, increasing movement speed by 100% and becoming immune to damage, but unable to attack last 6 seconds. This seems to be the same as it is on live. It's not an actual immune. It's just you know, you become immune to damage, so dots will still be applied to you, things like that. It's not a straight up immune like something else might be. This is kind of a pseudo immune, but still definitely very useful. In the middle, we have Furious Gaze. When I-Beam finishes fully channeling, your haste is increased by an additional 10% for 12 seconds. So this was reduced from Shadowlands to now. It used to be 15%, now it's 10%. That's okay. Nothing to freak out over. We already have a lot of haste. We overcap pretty easily. I think this is a good change that gives us more headroom to do other things within our spec, you know, later on. So this is fine. Fel Eruption impales the target for chaos damage and stuns them for 4 seconds. 10 Fury, 30-second cooldown, 20-yard range. Cool. Choice node here. On the left, we have Insatiable Hunger. Demon's Bite deals 20% more and generates more damage and generates 5 to 15 additional Fury. Yeah, cool. Nice. I hate pressing Demon's Bite, so I'll say that much. If I can do anything to not press Demon's Bite, that'll be cool. And I think that the node next to it is going to enable that, right? Because I think I know what it is. Demon Blades. Replaces Demon's Bite. Your auto attacks deal an additional amount of shadow damage and generate 7 to 12 Fury. So this is no longer a chance to proc. It seems to be 100%. And the amount of Fury that you generate from each attack is a variable, right? Anywhere from 7 to 12. This is a great change. Demon Blades would absolutely kill your momentum. Not the talent momentum, but your your momentum playing the game when it just didn't proc in your opener, right? You wouldn't get Demon Blades procking. You would be sitting there with no fury. You can't press the buttons you need to press. It felt really bad. But this is now guaranteed 100%. We love to see it. Let's keep going. What is this one right here? That icon looks very familiar. Oh, Chaos Theory. Blade Dance causes your next Chaos Strike within 8 seconds. Blade Dance causes your next Chaos Strike within 8 seconds to have a 10 to 18 increased critical strike chance. Huh? Blade Dance causes your next critical strike within 8 seconds. Just one? Your next Chaos Strike, it only affects one? 2-point node. Okay. We'll come back to that one. I don't know. I don't know about that one. Yeah, I'm not sold on that, but let's give it the benefit of the doubt for now. We will come back. The next one has the same icon, so this could be maybe what I was thinking it was. Nope. Serrated Glaive. Enemies hit by Throw Glaive take 10% increased damage from I-Beam. So again, that's the... I think that's exactly like the legendary that we have in Shadowlands that nobody used. The Conduit, sorry. Not the legendary, the Conduit. Yeah. If there's more reason throughout the tree to press Throw Glaive, then maybe this might work. But as of right now, from what we've looked at, all the talents that we've looked at, there's not really any other purpose to press Throw Glaive. So I don't think this would be taken. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, we have another I-Beam oriented talent here. Looks can kill. I-Beam deals guaranteed critical strikes. Ugh. Ugh. So this, like, on paper is a good thing, right? But it feels bad because it's one of those things that, like, maybe you wouldn't talent into it. Maybe you wouldn't talent into it. And that feels bad because it's already something that we have baked into I-Beam currently. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Let's keep going. Blind Fury. I-Beam generates 20 Fury every second, and its duration is increased by 25%. Right here. Okay, so looks can kill. We saw that. Blind Fury. We saw that. Unbound Chaos. Activating Immolation Aura increases the damage of your next Fel Rush by 250%. Lasts for 12 seconds. It's a 2-point node, so assuming that would go up to 500%, which is what we have now, I think, right? Do we have 500 or 600? I think we have 500. Yeah, we have 500 now. So this is staying the same? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, let's move on. Isolated Prey. Chaos Nova, I-Beam, and Fel Rush gain bonuses when striking one target. Chaos Nova, stun duration increased by 2 seconds. I-Beam deals 30% increased damage. Fel Rush generates 35 to 45 Fury. So what this does is it incentivizes using these types of AoE abilities in single target. Right? So like there might be, with the balancing right now, it might be like, you know, in AoE, I-Beam does a lot of damage, but then you transfer it to a single target and it's kind of lackluster. It might be more beneficial to press a different button. You get more damage out of that other button compared to I-Beam. Well, this fixes that, and it puts more damage into the single target of those abilities, which is really good. It's really good. Because we don't have that many abilities to work with in the first place, right? So, yeah, this is great. This is great. Relentless Onslaught. Chaos Strike has an 8% chance to trigger a second Chaos Strike. Let's see. So I'm wondering if the extra procs of Chaos Strike through Relentless Onslaught can proc Critical Chaos. Potentially, maybe. That could be pretty powerful. Where did we leave off here? Chaotic Transformation. When you activate Metamorphosis, the cooldown of Blade Dance and Eye Beam are immediately reset. Okay, we already have that. Kind of sucks to have to talent into it, but what can you do? Growing Inferno. Immolation Aura's damage increases by 15% each time it deals damage. Again, this is a conduit that we have that we never took off the entire expansion of Shadowlands, and now we have it in a talent in Dragonflight. I'm wondering how powerful this is going to be. Yeah, it's fire damage, right? So that combined with Charred Warblades could be a lot of healing. Could be a lot of healing. The next one is a choice node. We have Glaive Tempest on the left. We got Glaive Tempest, 30 Fury, 19-second cooldown affected by haste. Launch 2 demonic glaives in a whirlwind of energy, causing chaos damage over 3 seconds to all nearby enemies. Deals reduced damage beyond 5 targets. It's okay. Fel Barrage. 1 minute cooldown. Unleash a torrent of Fel energy over 3 seconds, inflicting 24,000 chaos damage to all enemies within 8 yards. Deals reduced damage beyond 8 targets. That seems to be the same, right? That's... I think it's the same. Yeah, so... Cool. Yeah, okay. We'll see how it slots into everything else. I think that's one thing to keep in mind is we're making judgments on abilities based on how we currently perceive them and how they slot into our current toolkit and, you know, abilities. It might be different now. It might be completely different. Okay, the third before the final row is Essence Break. 20-second cooldown. Slash all enemies in front of you for chaos damage and increase the damage of your Chaos Strike and Blade Dance by 40% for 6 seconds. Yeah, cool. I kind of hate Essence Break, TBH. That's just me. But yeah. Know your enemy. Your attacks have increased critical strike damage bonus equal to... Your attacks have increased critical strike damage bonus equal to your critical strike chance. Your attacks have increased critical strike damage bonus equal to your critical strike chance. So, like, if you have 20% crit, you're going to do 20% increased crit damage? That seems like a lot. That seems like a lot. Like, the funny thing is, all of the abilities that we're reading and we're like, oh wow, that's super powerful, they're all not yet implemented, which is interesting. But oh my god. Okay, let's keep going. Restless Hunter. Leaving demon form grants a charge of Fel Rush and increases the damage of your next Blade Dance by 50%. So you would probably only take this if you took demonic, because then you're leaving demon form more often, right? If you take it with demonic origins, it's a little less because you're only getting it after you leave your meta cooldown. But that's pretty cool. Another charge of Fel Rush increases the damage of your next Blade Dance by 50%. It's a nice little bonus. Not sure if it's completely worth it, but it could be cool. Inner Demon. Entering demon form causes your next Chaos Strike to unleash your inner demon, causing it to crash into your target and deal chaos damage to all nearby enemies. So this is, oh my god, this is adding a layer of AoE to our single target spell. Entering demon form causes your next Chaos Strike. It's only one Chaos Strike, right? After you enter demon form, your next Chaos Strike causes your demon to crash into your target. It does chaos damage to all nearby enemies. Cool. Interesting. This is this is pretty crazy. This looks like Fel Bombardment right here. This looks like Fel Bombardment. Yeah, I called it. Immolation Aura damage has a chance to grant you a stack of Fel Bombardment, increasing the damage that your next throw glaive deals to your primary target by 50%, and launching an additional glaive at a nearby target. This effect stacks up to 5 times. I just hope they fixed it. I don't know if it ever got fixed from Shadowlands, where like your glaives would just ricochet across the entire dungeon and pull everything. I'm assuming they've found a way to fix it if they're taking it from one expansion and porting it into another. But I guess we'll see. Next we have Rage Fire. Here we go. Here we go. This is the juice right here. This is the juice. Passive. Each time. Thank you for the prime. I appreciate that. Each time Immolation Aura deals critical damage, 50% of the damage dealt is gathered as Rage Fire. When Immolation Aura expires, you explode, dealing all stored Rage Fire damage to nearby enemies. What does this remind you of, guys? This is half of Winds of Winter. Kind of. The crit aspect of that was on Winds of Winter is still being used, but it's on Immolation Aura. We have talents to increase the crit chance of Immolation Aura. Plus, we're getting Growing Inferno, and yeah, it's probably fire damage as well. So we're gonna heal from it. So that's where the defensive part comes in from Winds of Winter. This is huge. This is a big talent. This is a big talent. One thing to keep in mind, or a couple things. It seems to be uncapped, maybe. It doesn't say that it's not uncapped. So the explosion from the Rage Fire thing, once you've built up your damage and then it explodes, seems to be uncapped. So this ability is benefiting off of crit to build up the damage, because every time your Immolation Aura crits, you're going to start banking that damage, and then you're also going to benefit from crit when it explodes, because you have the chance of that explosion critting. So this could be massive. This to me, this seems like a Capstone talent. This seems like a Capstone talent, and it's not. So I'm excited to see what's at the bottom of this tree. Let's keep looking here. Cycle of Hatred. Chaos Strike also reduces the cooldown of I-Beam by 0.5 seconds, and an additional 0.5 seconds when it refunds free. Not yet implemented. This basically means that they're unsure about this one. I would kind of anticipate this maybe not making it in, or them changing it, or something, right? It is a 2-point node, so the 0.5 would go up to 1 second. But yeah, the thing to notice is that it's on the entire opposite end of the tree than these ones here. So it's on the opposite end of Rage Fire. You'd have to really kind of work your way across if you wanted to take that. Yeah. I think let's hold our judgment. This will probably not make it. Either it doesn't make it, or people just don't take it. Either or. Burning Wound. Demon's Bite leaves an open wound on your enemy, dealing chaos damage over 15 seconds and increasing the damage taken from your Immolation Aura by 65%. So you're getting that 65% increase. You're also critting. Your Immolation Aura is also critting. That, oh my god, that amplified damage is being stored in If Rage Fire. Oh my god. Oh my god. It might be tricky to take both of those at the same time, potentially. I don't know. We'll see. Improved Metamorphosis. The Demon Hunter gains an additional 10% haste during Metamorphosis. So, there's a talent over here. Where we gained, I forget where it was, but we gained an amount of haste. I think it was 10%, right? And then we're getting another 10 from this. Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, I'm thinking like, okay, so if you took Demonic Origins, maybe that's something you would talent into to make that cooldown extra impactful, right? Because you're pressing it, you would be going into demon form less often than you would in demonic. So maybe you would take that to make it worth it or something. I don't know. We're gonna have to play with the trees. Once we start like distributing points, I'll see how it works. The next one is a choice node. This icon looks familiar. Both of these icons look familiar. Uh-oh. Fodder to the flame. Your damaging abilities have a chance to call forth a demon from the theater of pain for 25 seconds. Throw glaive deals lethal damage to the demon, which explodes on death, dealing damage to nearby enemies and healing you for 25% of the maximum health. The explosion deals reduced damage beyond 5 targets. Yeah, I mean, we all have our opinions on Fodder to the Flame. It can be good, it can be bad. It's bad when it doesn't line up when you need it to line up. Sometimes you get lucky and you do get that demon spawning when you need it. Sometimes you don't. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Elysian Decree. Place a Kyrian Sigil at the target location that activates after 2 seconds. 1 minute cooldown. Detonates to deal 21,000 arcane damage and shatter up to 3 lesser soul fragments from enemies affected by the sigil. Deals reduced damage beyond 5 targets. Does the current Elysian Decree have a target cap like that? Does anyone know? I've never spec'd into it, so I don't even know. It does not. Okay. I mean, I think that's fine. It's fine that it has a 5 target cap. Like, it still does drop off damage beyond 5, right? It's just full damage to 5. I think that's fair. And yeah, dude, Elysian Decree pumps. The thing with Elysian Decree currently is that, like, it does a lot of damage. It's a good ability, but, like, just, it's not as good as the other options, right? It's not as good as the damage that Sinful Brand puts out. It's not as good as the damage that the Hunt put out previously. So if we can get Elysian Decree, you know, with some of the other stuff, I think it could be a good option to take. Again, it's another option. It's another button to press. We're getting more buttons for our bars. I think that's really cool. We already looked at that. Soul Rend. Throw Glaive causes targets to take an additional 60% of damage dealt as chaos damage over 6 seconds. Throw Glaive causes targets to take an additional 60% of... Is that like all damage done? Just damage from us? Or just damage from everyone, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, this seems pretty crazy. Oh, damage from the glaive. Damage from the glaive. Okay. Throw glaive causes targets to take an additional 60% of the damage. Oh, of damage dealt from the glaive as chaos damage over 6 seconds. Okay. And I haven't looked at our mastery yet, but I'm assuming our mastery is still increasing chaos damage. So yeah, there's a reason to press throw glaive. Interesting. Okay. We're getting to the capstone talents here. We have 3 more to look at. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. Let's start on the left. You know what? Let's start on the right. Let's switch it up. We're going to start on the right. Any means necessary. It's a passive. Mastery. Demonic presence now also causes your single school magic damage to be dealt as chaos instead. Oh. So... Demonic presence now also causes your single school magic damage to be dealt as chaos. So I'm confused. Maybe somebody can clarify. What about our fire damage? Does that convert fire damage to chaos? And would that take away all the healing we get from fire damage? That converts your fire damage to be chaos and makes mastery relevant. Yeah, I understand that aspect. But like, in the class tree, if we're like speccing into Charred Warblades, where you heal for 5% of all fire damage you deal, does it just take all of our fire damage and turn it to chaos? Oh, chaos is fire damage and frost and shadow. Okay. Oh, because chaos damage is like multiple schools of magic in one. Got it. Got it. Okay. Damn. Oh, that's pretty insane. Wow. So what is our mastery? Mastery does the same, right? Let's just take a quick look. Increase your chaos damage by 20%. Right, okay. Can you explain it again for us smooth brains? Yes. So any ability that you have that does a single school magic damage, so anything that does like fire damage or whatever it might be, nature damage, whatever, all of that damage is then converted into chaos damage. Our mastery increases chaos damage done, right? So if you take this, there's then a huge reason to start getting some mastery on your gear, because more abilities that you have are then affected by your mastery. Right now, there's only certain abilities that you have in your toolkit that are chaos damage. So, yeah. Let's keep going here. Shattered Destiny. The duration of your active demon form is extended by 0.1 seconds per 5 fury spent. So the more haste you have, the more abilities you can use inside of your demonic window, meaning the longer you can extend your demonic window. Yeah, wow. Cool. 0.8 second extension per chaos strike. Yeah. I wonder how much you would need to extend to like be in demonic all the time. Probably a lot of fucking haste, but I don't even know if you could fit that many GCDs inside of a demonic window. But you keep extending it, right? So the longer you extend it, the more GCDs you can do. I mean, you could just keep it rolling potentially. Cool. All right, let's look at the last one. Momentum. There it is. There it is. Fel Rush Glide the Hunt and Vengeful Retreat. Increase your damage done by 12% for 6 seconds. Glide, huh? Glide? What? Glide hasn't... no. You can just spam Glide. Could you like pre-stack momentum before you pull a boss? Like just stand there and fucking just jump around? Stacking up momentum. You get 6 seconds of it every time you glide. Okay. Wow. Rex Troy video incoming. Yeah, that's insane.